Yeah, I mean, I think, first and foremost, I like the way that we played defensively. I think if you take away, the long drive that was 13 or so minutes, other than that, I thought they played pretty dang well. And, to be able to come up with two turnovers was huge for us. That was a team that didn't give the ball away. They gave us two opportunities offensively. Offensively, I think we only had 6 drives, and I think we just squandered 4 of them. I mean, anytime you can get the ball inside the 10-yard line 4 times and you got 3 points on the scoreboard, it's a nightmare. And I thought it was a nightmare, with some execution. I thought it was a nightmare with some play calling. I thought we kind of took some turns making mistakes down there. And the one play I thought McKenzie scored, and then the next play, we have a busted assignment on the inch line, and just can't happen in a big game like that and have a free runner at your running back. And so I think something we got to learn from. Obviously, we can't sit here and sulk in it, because obviously UTSA playing in the Alamo Dome's been phenomenal. And then, you look at 2 of the losses that they had this year. I mean, they got beat down to the wire last seconds of the game. Easily is a team that right now could have 6 wins, 7 wins. And so, yeah, I think they've gotten better, a testament to Coach Traylor. I mean, I know Coach Traylor, tough guy, gets the most out of his kids always. And I thought they responded in a big way their last game against Memphis, and played some good team ball. Just historically, the last couple of years here and us going there, we got to find a way to win a football game on the road at the Alamo Dome, which is a heavy feat. I think everybody knows that. Our players know that. So a fine line this week of letting them rest up a little bit on a short week. We practiced Sunday, kind of walked through, got some looks to them. Practiced Monday and Tuesday, which is unique for us coming off a game like Army. On the offensive side of the ball, we just didn't have near as many plays as what we normally do. So I think the reload, I think, defensively, just playing a game like that and having to stop the run, over and over and over, obviously is physically taxing on their body. So for us to be able to reload and regroup in a hurry, knowing what we're about to face will be a big deal for us this week.
Yeah, how are you guys health-wise coming into this thing?
Not bad. I think we're as healthy as we've been in the last month and a half, just holistically. I mean, we got some little things here and there that every team in a football has at this time of the year. And so, but nothing major coming out of that last game. Jaden Williams had an ankle, and so we'll see what he progresses like this week. I think, other than that, Evan Jackson just got a little beat up, threw his body around and made a ton of tackles in that game. So we got to get him back healthy. Obviously he's a difference maker for us on the back end. And so, yeah, I mean, I think for the most part, pretty good.
You think Shane will be able to play this week? Or?
Yeah, Shane's on pace to play, and just running back wise, him and Kiefer, both of them got a little beat up last week during the course of the game. Kiefer wasn't able to come back. Kiefer's back practicing right now. Shane was able, he's kind of in and out of the game during the course of it. So, McKenzie, Zach Evans, I think, is at a place now health wise where we're comfortable at putting him in the game and letting him turn him loose out there. So, yeah, I mean, it's been by committee. I mean, that room has been beat up all year, so we got to continue to get what we can out of those guys. And I think they're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, what about Whitaker, though? The head linebacker, I didn't see like
Shane? Yeah, Shane's up. Shane's good.
And one more question as far as injuries. As far as Akaika's, how's his health going into this week?
Yeah, I think he's getting there, just practicing, working back into it, getting to shape, gets more and more carries in it. And so yeah, I think Akaika will be up this week.
And what's your impression of the way Owen McCown's kind of played for UTSA?
Yeah, I just think he gets better and better throughout the course of the year. I mean, I think he's coming, more and more comfortable in the offense. They've done a nice job with these tight ends. They got 2 really fast guys on the perimeter that can really stretch the field. And so, I think, and too, I don't even think, I think maybe back a year ago, maybe somebody would say, hey, he's a game manager. But I think he's grown into a really good quarterback that knows where his guys are, knows how to run it. He's athletic enough to go pick up first downs, extremely accurate, smart guy. Obviously, I think coming from the family, just a football family, gets it, understands it. I think he'll just continue to grow in that position.
And Brian Nelson had a big game against Army last Saturday with the interception and fumble recovery. How big has he been in the secondary for y'all this year?
Yeah, I mean, I think Brian will continue to emerge as one of the leaders back there on the back end. You look up and he's just a redshirt freshman right now, and so just a young kid that I think continues to, as these game reps keep coming. He played really good for us at the back end of last year, and I think he's kind of picked off where he left off. I think made a ton of tackles for us. Was great in the run game. I thought both of our corners were. I thought he made the one play on the interception, then was able to, he's hustling down the field when B.J. Allen knocks that ball out, and we're able to get it back to our offense late. So the strain was good. I think, they completed 2 passes on us the whole night, and they were both on critical third downs was the one thing, I wish kind of we had better. And that's hard to do. I mean, we got our guys keying this option and it's a run 70 times and then all of a sudden they throw a pass and not the easiest thing to do. But yeah, I think Brian will continue to establish himself as a great player around here.
How important is a win against this type of team, not just for bowl eligibility or for the rivalry, but also on the recruiting side? How important is this game?
Yeah, I just think anytime. I mean, we're dying for a win. I don't care who a win comes against this week, or next week, or the week after that. I think you get in this stretch, which is eerily close to last year. And then we come off a short week, and then play a team that's really good at home, and has just gotten better. I kind of think they've just kind of found their identity as this season's gone on, and so yeah, I mean, tough opponent, but as far as our sake, I mean, we need to win, and I don't care who it's against.
And the 4-man front worked a little bit better in this game against Army. Do you think that's a scheme that y'all are going to implement a lot more going into the rest of the season?
Yeah, I mean, I think with what they did, it's a little bit easier to do that, running the triple option. I think, you get into a whole new can of worms once you get into a spread system like this, and they move the tight ends, and sometimes they're tight, sometimes they're out wide. And so I think just being able to be a little bit multiple will be good for us, not allowing them to really dice in on one thing that we're doing. And I think, this is a team that continue. I mean, they've thrown the ball really, really efficiently here of late. And so for us, it's something we see in practice all the time is the ball in the air. And so yeah, I mean, I think we need to be multiple.
Your players still have a lot of confidence at this point that you can pull out of this. It's been 3 in a row. They've all been tight. Do you still feel that sense of confidence among your players as you go into this?
Yeah, I think so, and I think this is a whole new group for us. I mean, 77 new kids, and so it's not like we're drawing back on last year. I haven't talked about last year's team one time this year. I just thought that was important for where we're moving. We got so many young guys playing for us right now. I mean, and just talked about it. I mean, how many true freshmen are out there and making plays for us, and so yeah. I mean, I think just this is a continual growth group right here. I like the way the roster's building and what we can build upon for the future of this. And looking at, last week, Oscar didn't play, and you got a true freshman in BJ that's out there and played extremely well. I thought Miles Coleman did some good things. Left tackles, Braden Nelson, who's a true freshman. Jaden Williams played a ton. 2 freshman corners out there. Oscar Hammond not Oscar Hammond. Quentin Hammond's out there as a true freshman playing free safety for us, and a little bit of strong safety. So there's a bunch of young guys that I think just all these things will be really good learning stepping stones for them in the future. So excited about it. It's a different team. But yeah, we got to learn from what's happening this year and be able to grow this year as opposed to reminiscing back.
Yeah, this game against UTSA has kind of developed into a big rivalry over the years with just the number of huge games between these teams. Do you sense that this has kind of become the premier rivalry, especially with SMU dropping off the schedule for this program?
Yeah, I think anytime you're playing an in-state team, that's performed as well as they have for the last 5 years since Coach Traylor's been there. I mean, I think, he kind of set the standard, for this or the conference before and now in the American and us adjusting to it. But yeah, I mean, I think anytime you can, go right down the road on 35 and be able to play a team like this that you continually, are trying to recruit against. And so, yeah, I think it's fun for our kids to be able to play these type of games, and especially, I think atmosphere and in the Dome, I think it's a unique college atmosphere and a really cool place for college kids to play.
Yeah, why is it so tough to win down there, you think?
It's a good question. They play great, and I know it's loud in there. I think they established a home field advantage, and I think that's built in the culture, and they're used to protecting their house. I think that's something that they've done a really nice job of, and continue to do this year, being 4-0 there.
Yeah, does this game just stack up to be another huge one, just with the logistics here of where both these teams stand in terms of getting involved?
Yeah, I think so. I think both. There've been ups and downs for both teams during the course of the year. I think that's easy to turn on the records and look at it and look at the last 5 or 6 games for both opponents, and both of them they're coming off a great win, and then had some late losses that I think hurt them, but I think they responded extremely well, and then they had a week off this week to be able to get prepared, and we're on a short week, and so and that's not anything that I think is going to be monumental. It just kind of is what it is.
Coach, reflecting a little more on Army, you guys have faced the #1 rushing attack, in Army last week, and all year stopping the run has kind of been the biggest goal. Just what have you kind of seen from that defense over the season, and where have they grown the most, and why did last week kind of work so successfully for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they wanted to make you one-dimensional, and I think our guys took the challenge. We thought if we could match the physicality, I mean, that's what they do all day, every day, is and especially once we found out Bryson was back playing, and it turned into more of a power downhill, run game scheme as opposed to the true option. They threw some option in there every once in a while. But yeah, I thought our kids fought for 4 quarters. I think that even though we went for the onside kick, and then they were scored right there on the first drive, and I thought we really kind of honed it in. We had a huge fake field goal attempt stop there. Jaden Hill made a phenomenal play right there. So I think just the resiliency, the fight in them, the way they threw their bodies in there, our linebackers, our DBs. I thought that we came out ready to play, and we did it for 4 quarters.
Yeah, and then offensively, that red zone performance seems a little uncharacteristic of you guys all year. You guys have been fairly efficient scoring-wise. Do you plan on making a lot of changes play calling-wise, or do you think that's kind of more of an outlier last week?
Yeah, I mean, I got to put our guys in better situations. I know that, and to just realizing what we have right now, and then schematically, how can we marry up and make it advantageous for us, right? Once you get in there, and we don't have Oscar was down last week. And just with BJ being our tight end as a true freshman is not a huge guy, so just understanding and try to find different ways to use our skill set of what we have right now, and two, I think we have other ways to be able to do it, and then two, just we can't bust down there. I mean, we had a couple times where we get a penalty, go backwards on the first drive, and then we had a couple times down there tight in the red area where we had some misassignments, which can't happen down there. Good team will make you pay.
And then speaking on UTSA, you kind of mentioned that you kind of have noticed this team has found its identity. How would you kind of describe the identity for the Roadrunners?
Yeah, I mean, I think, defensively, I mean, I think they're aggressive. I think they get after the passer. They have 2 really good ends that have been able to, and that's something that they've done the last couple of years at UTSA is the strength of the D-line. French is a linebacker that plays extremely fast, makes tackles all over the field. I think their back end is really good. Elliot Davidson's a guy that played for me at Incarnate Word. That's a really good football player. He's been starting this is probably his 4th or 5th year to be a starter in college football, so he's seen so much. And then offensively, I think ever since they've kind of got into this world of 12 personnel and being multiple and using these tight ends in the throw game and being able to run the ball as well, I mean, I think they've been able to keep people off balance, and Owen, like we talked about earlier, has continued to get better.
You've mentioned a couple of times throughout the season that Ridge is somebody that's kind of important to you from your time here. What is it that makes Ridge somebody that has really, been special to you in his time here?
Yeah, I think he's tough. He's gritty. He's out there on the island a ton of times. I think he's unselfish. He plays extremely hard. Last week was under the weather, was sick last week, so really didn't practice, and then came in and was able to give us, I thought it was his most physical game that he's played here. We asked these corners to do some things last week that usually 5'9", 175-pound guys don't love to do every single play, and he stepped up to the challenge. And I think Ridge would be the first one to tell you too is Ridge has got to find a way in these next 3 weeks to make some game-changing plays for us, and something that shows up on tape that he's able to affect this team. And not that he's done it negatively, but I know he holds himself to a high standard, and be able to come up with the big third down stop, to be able to come up with the big interception, to be able to come up with the big fumble. And so, yeah, he's been a pleasure to work with. Love his competitive edge.
Is he somebody that has gotten the most out of what he has talent-wise? It seems like he's kind of squeezed every bit of juice out of it there to be able to play at this level for so long and at such a high level.
Yeah, I don't know that. I mean, I love his work ethic's phenomenal. I mean, it's fun to watch people that work so hard and then get rewarded on Saturdays, and see a little bit of myself in him, and he's more athletic than me. But I always called myself an overachiever to be a little short guy that was able to actually make some plays on Saturdays. And so I just think that anytime kids are able to put in the time, the effort, the preparation, and they go out on Saturdays, no matter what size they are, how fast they are, and they end up making plays for you. I mean, those are the fun ones to coach.
Yeah, and it's going to be a little weird. He's coming up on his senior day here, so in a couple of weeks we're going to be out of the Tejada era here. We've had a Tejada playing in Texas college football for seems like forever. Has that family just contributed a lot to the fabric of college football in the state over the course of the last few years?
Yeah, I think so. I think great parents first and foremost. Super supportive of their kids at every game. Through the highs, through the lows. I mean, people that are all about watching their kids succeed. And so, got the opportunity to play against both of his other brothers that were great players as well. And so, I mean, I think that you can definitely tell they were raised the right way. That their family has put faith in the kids, has put trust in the kids, and then obviously they're a bunch of competitive guys that have gone out there and been super successful.
All right, cool. Thanks, Coach.
Coach Traylor gave you a lot of respect in his presser yesterday. Can you just talk a little bit more about the connection the two you guys have?
Yeah, I mean, I just think he's done a phenomenal job, there and going into UTSA and being able to change that program. And then the hardest thing, you get on top. The hardest thing is to continue to be on top, especially in this era of football, of portal and NIL and all the different things that kind of come with the struggle of college football right now. And so just always respected the way he goes about his business, the way his kids play extremely hard for him, the way he's, found ways to win since he's gotten there. And, and I think anytime he was blessed, and he'll be the first one to tell you that, having Frank there, having Rashad Wisdom there, just some great leadership that he developed that talent and won so many damn football games. And you can see too now, I mean, you can just see the resiliency that he has with this team. That's a team that Memphis is coming in town, one of the preseason favorites, and they were coming off a bad loss, and he was able to get those guys to play the way they did and dominate a game against Memphis like that. So, yeah, I just think he's a hell of a football coach, hell of a motivator, and I think he's going to be good for a long time.
And then you're going back. Oh, you're done.
Go.
You're going back to San Antonio for the first time since being a coach there. Just what does that feel like, and is there any sentiment for the city?
Yeah, I mean, it's one of our favorite places we've ever lived as a family. My second child, George, was born there, and so, always special memories there. Great Mexican food there. Wish I could go get some good puffy tacos somewhere. I don't think I'll have time to do that. But yeah, I think the culture of San Antonio is phenomenal. We lived close to Incarnate Word there, Alamo Heights, so spent a lot of time downtown in the Pearl District, and just a unique place that it's a big city, but it kind of has a smaller town feel to it, and somewhere that we'll always treasure our time there.
All right, Damon, so you guys coming off the tough loss that last week, how are you guys just mentally coming into a game against UTSA?
Just moving on to UTSA and just trying to fix the mistakes and emphasizing on finishing once we get to that red zone.
That makes sense. When you look back at that Army game, what do you think the issue was offensively that maybe precluded you guys from playing at the level you typically do?
Just not executing. I mean, like it was all on us.
And UTSA seems like you've been here longer than anybody. It seems like UTSA has developed into that big rival for this program. Do you feel that way, especially now that SMU's off the schedule?
I mean, it's just another game, but it is a rivalry. But like we don't got to get like too worked up about it. I mean, we just going out there to play football. We just need to go out there and handle our business and do what we need to do as a team to pull out the victory. It's not so much about them. I mean, it's a rivalry, but at the end of the day, we focus on ourselves.
Why do you think it's developed into a rivalry?
Just because of the way the games went the last couple of years, 3 years ago when we spoiled a perfect season and, just so forth and so on. So, I mean, it's just a bunch that go into it. But like I said, it's just another game at the end of the day.
You guys have had a couple of shots to get bowl eligible already this year and come up a little bit short. How important does it get as you guys get closer to the season and the number of opportunities left to dwindle?
You want to get bowl eligible, we missed it last year. So we right here to go ahead and stamp that. So, I mean, want to go ahead and get that out the way early so we can finish the season the right way and be worried about, once that time come around.
You guys haven't had a lot of success down there. I think you guys are 1-5 all time, and you've been around for at least a couple of them. Why is it, do you think it's been so hard to win down there?
I mean, it's just a bunch that go into it, So, I mean, players opting out, different stuff in the past. So, I mean, yeah.
One guy that's coming to the end of his career here is, like yourself, is Ridge Tejada. What has made him so successful over his time at North Texas?
He's just consistent, come to work every day. He's selfless. Like now with us having a younger team, he just a leader in the room, a OG, I guess you could say, just pushing the guys in the right direction. But, I mean, his consistency and how he approaches the game every day, I say that's what separates him and make him into the player he is.
Yeah, and I was working on another story on, Coach Morris is going to have a couple of his proteges right at the top of the national leaders in terms of passing yards because, he had Cam Ward, now he's got Chen. What has made him so effective, you think, just developing offenses and mentoring quarterbacks?
Well, I mean, just that air raid offense, you hit all the different dimensions of the field, and he has some good plays up his sleeve, so, I mean, the offense kind of just take care of itself, and if you put a gunslinger back there, it just, take it to another level, so.
Damon, with the short week, how leading into Friday's game, how has the pace or structure of practice kind of changed for this week?
I mean, it's still kind of the same, just focusing on the details, getting the looks that UTSA going to give us and really just knowing that we got the short week ahead of us. So getting in the treatment room, being in the film room, making sure, because we don't have those extra days that we necessarily have. Even though it's still kind of equaling out that way, it's just different because we play on that Friday.
And, what kind of stands out about UTSA's defense from the film you've seen?
I mean, they fly around to the ball, they physical. I mean, it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a dogfight. They going to come out there and try to probably, man us up some or, whatever. I mean, it's just going to be one of those games. Like I said, it's a rivalry. It's a regular game at the end of the day, but that rivalry factor going to come in into, emotions going to be flying and stuff like that. So I say that'll be the determining factor. Then we're going to be in the dome. You know how that goes. So.
Yeah, for sure. And, what kind of leadership is coming from you and other veteran guys during this tough stretch of games to really keep the team motivated?
November, that's where you're either going to fall out of love with it or you're going to keep pushing, and I just pride myself on keep pushing and trying to keep getting better and becoming a better receiver. And I just harp on that to the young guys. And, we getting in the huddle before we go out there to fire our racks. And I'm just letting them know, we need to be crisp, be intentional about what we finna do, especially coming off of us only scoring them 3 points, that hurt. So we know we better than that as an offense. So we just got to put our best foot forward on Friday.
Damon, during parts of this year so far, you've kind of been dealing with an injury. Just how do you kind of feel health-wise, and in the last 2 weeks, kind of being able to kind of get back to form?
I feel good. It was a stressful time just going through that, just knowing what I could bring to the table. But, I mean, I feel good now. I'm not too really, focused on the past because that's in the past now, So just trying to keep being consistent every day and make up for what I lost in those couple of games I missed out on, and then just keep being there for the guys, So just keep being that leader for them and giving them insight of stuff I see, so.
And then looking ahead at UTSA, just reflecting on that Army offensive performance, how does that kind of add additional motivation to kind of return to, this air raid offense and what it can typically do?
Just that finishing factor, just knowing, we are explosive and we know what we can do, but, it's easier to say it than to do it, so we need to go out there and do it. And we know we can. We didn't put it on tape before, so it's just us revamping and getting back in the film room on the practice field on these 2 days and being ready for Friday.
So your ankle's doing a little bit better now?
Oh, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'll be out there playing, so.
You'll be ready to go. All right. And one other thing I was going to ask you, when you were in high school, when you tore your ACL, was it the second week of the football season you tore it?
Nah, I started off the season high ankle sprain, and my coaches and them just made me chill until district, and then the first district game I tore it.
It was first district.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure of that. All right,
Or
thanks.
second district game, one of them, yeah, something
Second
like
district
that.
game.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, thanks, Dan. Anybody else? All right, Jaden, coming off that Army game, did you guys have I'm sure you've had a chance to look back at it now. What did you guys see in that game that you can maybe build on going forward after you played so well in that contest?
I would definitely say the physicality. You know, everybody was flying to the ball. A lot of block destruction. That was huge for us, just getting off a block and making a play. So going on to the next few weeks, that's our goal, playing fast and playing physical.
Yeah, you guys on a bit of a slide here. You had a couple of chances to get bowl eligible and kind of seen them slip away at the last minute. Are you guys confident you can get there at this point to break that slide?
Yeah, we're really confident in the back end. Everybody's just motivated to do well, you know, just fighting for our seniors and hoping that we can get everything that we can do to accomplish everything.
Yeah, we're going to have a story on Ridge for the end of the season. You play with him in the back end. What has he meant to this program just in your short time here?
He's been huge. He pretty much keeps us all together. Like, he's a cornerstone. Like, him and Rod are definitely cornerstones. Just talking to him, it brings life into us. Me and him have a lot of personal conversations outside of football, and he's just a good person overall.
What do you see in UTSA as you prepare for this game?
You know, that's a solid team. You know, they just actually beat Memphis, so they got everything to win. So I'm hoping that we can do their best and just fly around, play physical, and that would help us get the dub.
Yeah, and I'm sure you've been, the older guys have probably talked to you a little bit about the UNT-UTSA rivalry as you got prepared for your first one in this one. What have they told you about this series and how important it is?
They pretty much told me it's everything. You know, that little rivalry that they have, it's an ongoing beef that's been going on, so all the little things
Excuse me. Brian Nelson had 2 turnovers in this last game. How important has he been to that secondary, and how much has he grown so far this year?
Oh, yeah, he's definitely grown a ton. You know, like from game 1, rep 1, we've seen a lot out of him. And just the experience that he's gotten this year has actually been huge. So we're just he's one of our key players down the line, and he's a good dude, good person.
Do you feel like the physicality of Army kind of helped y'all shape up this defense for the rest of the season?
Pretty much, yeah. You know, they came in really tough. Like, we watched the film, they move fast, physical, and they're all, like, they always do their job. So that's one of the things that we got to keep our keys on.
How has the pace or structure of practice kind of changed this week going into a short week with the game on Friday?
We've been just trying to keep it up-tempo compared to last week. Last week was super up-tempo, so we're just trying to match that effort, match that speed.
And what are your impressions of UTSA's quarterback?
Oh, he's a nice dude. He can run out the pocket, throw out the pocket. He always looks down the field to make a play. So that's one of the things that we got to keep our eyes on.
Sure. And, you know, after a solid performance against Army, like, how can you and the rest of the defense kind of carry that momentum into Friday?
You know, just communicating, just keeping our high effort, just talking. That's one of the big things. And then playing hard, fast, physical.
And, you know, you've made a huge impact on defense this year for the team. Just how have you kind of been able to adapt playing Division I football so quickly?
I mean, a lot of it's based off experience. I've had a lot of experience. I got to play with a lot of people who came from Division I to Division II. So just doing the best that I could do, a lot of film study prep, and just hanging around the guys, and that's actually helped me a ton.
Jaden, how have you kind of taken a larger role as a tackler? You're the second leading tackler on the team so far, just the season with all the injuries and the secondary and everything.
Mainly, I'm just doing my job at the end of the day. You know, they brought me in to make tackles, so that's what I'm going to do.
Absolutely. And then speaking of tackling, you know, stopping the run has been the biggest goal of all year so far. Just, you know, how did it feel for that defensive performance against Army last week?
I think it was huge for us knowing that, like, one of the best running teams, like, ever. We got to play them and just do that to them. So we're just trying to keep that momentum for next week.
And then matching up against UTSA, Coach kind of mentioned that, you know, the defense kind of gets to see, you know, an area offense every practice. You know, how does it kind of feel to have that familiarity facing another, you know, high-flying passing attack?
Oh, it's everything. It actually makes it easier on us.